Let's bring in Oakland County Prosecutor Karen McDonald. Prosecutor McDonald, thank you for joining us this morning. We saw Mr. Crumbley shaking his head right there. Why don't you lay out the case against the parents?
Good morning. It's somewhat unique to charge parents, but in this case, there was such overwhelming evidence. I do want to point out these are merely allegations. They are innocent until proven guilty. And I am ethically bound only to release the facts that have already been made public in the swear-to in open court. However, there is evidence to suggest that they purchased that weapon for their 15-year-old, bragged about it online, thought this was some joyous occasion as a present, and in combination with mom's social media posts, son's social media posts, the gun was his, and he had free access to it. And then the signs there, such warning signs. The day before about the ammunition, mom's lack of concern. In fact, she seems to be encouraging that behavior. And then, of course, that morning with the meeting where the drawing and the notes were found, it's just goes beyond any sort of mere negligence or mistake. It's criminal.
You said the gun was stored unlocked when you announced the charges last week. Their defense attorney says it was locked. Are you positive it was unlocked? And would it change your case if it was indeed locked?
He had access. So whether it was locked or not, he had access to it. Securing a weapon doesn't mean just locking it if you're going to just allow a minor or somebody you think might be dangerous free access to unlock it. So no, I'm not positive because, you know, we're still, these are just allegations, but the evidence shows at this point that he absolutely had free access to that weapon, and in fact it was purchased for him.
Are the parents cooperating?
I can't make any statement about either defendant and whether or not they've made statements. I can just tell you that this is a terrible tragedy, and at some point we have to acknowledge that all of the training and all of the events that we lead to kids, teaching them to hide under desks and what to do in an active shooter situation is really important. And in this case, everything was done perfectly, except that 4 kids were still murdered and several others injured, not to mention the hundreds of other kids who were in that school, and their lives will never be the same, nor will the community. So that the parents are responsible, and I think that they should be held accountable. None of that would have happened if he had not had access to a handgun. That
is clearly true, but there were also a lot of other warning signs as well. Any chance the school could face charges?
That has not been presented to our office. That's an investigative process that I'll leave to law enforcement. I can tell you that there is outrage in the community. I can tell you that we all should be looking at the events that led up to that horrific event, and as a community, as a school, as a nation, talk about what could have been, what we could have done different so that didn't happen. And in this case, a lot could have been done different. I mean, that meeting, he was allowed to go back to school. We know that he either had that weapon with him or someplace where he could have stored it in the school, but he had it in the school. There's no question. And leaving the decision to parents about whether he goes home or not. I mean, I just want to point out, too, I mean, you can't even in an airport mention anything that even remotely indicate that there might be some sort of violence on a plane. You'll be immediately extracted. And yet we have a kid who is, as you reported, saying some pretty concerning things, and he was allowed to go back to school, and neither parent mentioned that he had access to a weapon. And it's not just tragic, it's not just disappointing. I believe it's criminal.
Prosecutor McDonald, thanks very much.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here. to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.